Welcome. I'm Dr. K, and I'm here to help you to navigate through the many challenges in your life's journey so that you might ultimately become the highest version of yourself. Right now, I'm going to talk about where our habits came from. Do you know that our habits started early on from childhood? Our brains got wired, got programmed by our parents or our caregivers. Whatever they told you to do over and over and over again. When you did it over and over again, those nerves in your brain that fired together on a regular basis wired together, and that became your habit. The different things that they taught you, their ways of thinking about things, their belief systems, when they told you about those things over and over and over again, your exposure to that repetitiously caused that to become wired into your brain as a belief system. So now you've got some habitual ways of doing things, which are your behaviors that started in childhood. And you've got some habitual ways of thinking about things that also started in childhood. And not only your parents and your caregivers programmed your brain, but let's look at your teachers when you went to school, whatever it is that they were teaching you, whatever it is that they were talking about, whatever it is that the school had you doing over and over again, wired your brain for habit. And then let's not forget the friends that we hang around. When you were a kid, whoever you hung around on a regular basis, eventually some of the things that they did, some of the things that they talked about became some of the things that you started doing and some of the things that you started talking about. So your brain also got programmed from the company that you kept at that time. A real biggie is media. Our brains get wired, our brains get programmed from exposure to media, whether it be social media or whether it be the news. When you listen to it over and over and over again, whatever the narrative is that they're presenting, whatever the agenda is, whatever is going on, just the repetition of you being exposed to it over and over and over again causes your brain to get programmed, to get wired in a certain way. Let me give you an example of how our brain gets wired just from billboards. When you're driving down the freeway and there are billboards up over there on the side of the road, when you're driving your vehicle, you're not looking at that billboard while you're driving. It just happens to come into your vision for that while you're driving by, but you got your eyes on the road, maybe looking up at it a little bit. But if you keep going down that same road over and over and over again, your repetitious exposure to that particular billboard programs your brain. Now, say, for example, that billboard was about some food, right? Fast food. And they got that burger looking good, those fries looking good. They got that pop looking so effervescent with the bubbles all on the side of it, right? And then just say that right now you're working on a program to be healthy, right? Maybe you're not dieting, but you're just wanting to put healthy things into your body, healthy foods into your body. So now you've been exposed to this billboard over and over and over again. And there comes that one time where maybe you had so many things on your plate that day to do that you didn't have time to cook your meal, cook your lunch. Or maybe you're just too tired and when you get home, you're just done. You don't even want to try to cook anything. What you're going to remember is that billboard, that fast food billboard with that good looking burger or fries or effervescent pop. And you're going to turn right into that place and you're going to get that, right? So that is one example of how media programs our brain. Another example is how commercials will say, you need to look this way in order to be sexy or in order to like be prosperous, right? And so these commercials have people on there that don't look like you and you never gonna look like that. And maybe the cars that they're driving or the handbags that they're carrying is way out of your price range. So you're not gonna get that unless you do some retail therapy and end up getting it. And then you gotta worry about paying your bills. But bottom line is, when you're constantly exposed to that stuff, and if it doesn't look like you, then you're gonna feel bad about yourself maybe. right? Or if you don't have that certain thing, you're going to want to have that kind of thing because your brain is being programmed to get that stuff. The repetition of you watching a certain commercial over and over and over and over again is programming you to want things that they're presenting to you. So we've all been programmed with forces outside of ourselves. And if you didn't know that those things were programming your brain, wiring your brain, then you didn't know. But now you do know that those things program your brain. And if you've looked at my other videos about how to rewire your brain, if you've read my book, I Rewired My Brain, My Journey to Freedom, now you know how to rewire your brain. You can get in the driver's seat of your life. You can create your own billboards, vision boards. You can rewire your own brain so that you can take your life in the direction that you want it to go. We're going to operate from programs, period. 95% of the time, operating on automatic pilot. Let those programs be the programs that you want. Let those habits be the habits that are going to take your life in the direction that you want it to go in. I strongly encourage you to work on yourself. Work on rewiring your brain. Work on it. Now, you can't just do it 1 day, 2 days and think, everything is going to change, right? You got to be determined. You got to have some perseverance. Do it for at least, I'll say at least a month. Maybe in 21 days, you're going to start to see some changes, but do it for a month, you're really going to notice some changes. What do you have to lose? Because at this point, we all know that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. So the habits that you have now are not taking your life in the direction that you want it to go. If you continue doing these habits, do you think it's going to take you where you want to go? No. We all operate from habits the majority of our life. Make those habits be habits that are going to take your life in the direction that you want to go in. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to fulfill your goals, your dreams. Take charge of your life and rewire your brain.